Hello, welcome back to my channel, Astrobabushka. It's Irina K. I'm a Vedic astrologer and I apply ancient, more than 3,000 years old knowledge to modern times. In this video, I will go over all rising signs and what December month can bring to you. So for Aries rising, December carries a strong mix of inner correction, external tension, and a new direction that might form near the end of the month. So for the Aries, fire is here, fire is present, but it needs discipline to stay balanced. Jupiter moves backward through your third house. This slows your plans, but helps you rethink how you speak, teach, write, or negotiate. Use this period to correct your direction instead of forcing speed. It is a good time to revise your schedule, return to earlier studies, or reconnect with siblings and colleagues. Avoid rushed decisions in travel, paperwork, and contracts. So for Aries risings, this activates your 11th and 12th houses, and the tension may appear through sudden pressure around friendships or group responsibilities. It can be misunderstandings and teamwork. Could be hidden worries, fatigue, or loss of motivation, unexpected expenses, or delays. Now, days between December 7 and 12 feel unstable. Keep your schedule light, stay cautious with conflicts, and avoid forcing outcomes. This is a time to conserve energy rather than push forward. The full moon falls in your second house of resources, food and values, and Rohini intensifies desire and highlights what you need for stability. With the Sun and combust Venus in Scorpio, you may feel emotional pressure around shared finances or intimacy. So this full moon encourages you to create order in your material life. Budgeting, simplifying possessions, and honest conversations about money work well here. Jupiter will re-enter Gemini in December 5th, which is not an easy sign for it, yet it stands in its own Punarvasu nakshatra of renewal and second chances. And for Aries, this supports second chances in communications, study, marketing, or skill development. If something failed earlier in this year, the transit allows you to try again with better chances and better planning. Now, December 15th to 18th, Rahu passes 80 degree Aquarius in your 11th house, and there is a fixed star high door involved, traditionally linked to floods, water disruptions, and collective instability. So for Aries rising, this activates your social networks, goals, and larger community. So stay aware of news involving large groups, institutions, or humanitarian concerns. Personally, avoid promising too much, spending excessively, or relying on unstable alliances these days. Next point of interest is December 20th, and it is a new moon that lands in Nakshatra Mula in your 9th house. It's joined by Venus at 0 degree Sagittarius and Mars at 9 degree Sagittarius. So all of this group of planets form a square to Saturn and Neptune and Pisces again. So this new moon will ask you to redefine your beliefs, long-term plans, and worldview. Something connected to education, travel, or spiritual direction may fall away, so something stronger can replace it. It is a profound time for meditation, study, and honest reflection. Avoid impulsive decisions, but pay attention to inner shifts. They point toward your path for 2026. Before closing for you, I want to mention a bright moment on January 3rd, 2026, when Venus will join with the heart of the Sun in Kazimi in Purva Shatha Nakshatra, while the Moon and Jupiter forms Gajakeshari Yoga. So for Aries rising in general, this influences your 9th and 10th houses, bringing clarity in direction, inspiration, and new confidence in your professional path. This is your December landscape, so it begins with a revision, peaks with tension, and ends with a deeper spiritual reset. Try to move slowly, trust the process, and let the month shape your inner clarity. Now for Taurus rising. December opens with a thoughtful pace, moves through a period of social and emotional tension, and ends with a shift in your deeper commitments. The themes involve relationships, shared resources, and long-term plans. Both Jupiter and Mercury since November are retrograde. And so they bring this influence in December as well. This touches the axis of money, trust, inheritance, and shared responsibilities. So Jupiter moves backward through your 2nd house, and this slows financial growth, but it also gives you the chance to correct your approach to spending, saving, or earning. This is a month to organize your financial life with patience and maybe to make some second trials in something that didn't go right in the past few months in that area. Try to avoid signing large contracts until clarity returns. Use this retrogrades to repair anything unstable in your material foundation. Saturn turned direct at the end of November, and it moves toward a difficult square with Mars in December 9th. At the same time, Neptune stations near Saturn. So this combination affects your 10th and 7th houses. And for Taurus, the tension may show through strain in work responsibilities or disagreements with partners or clients. It can be confusion about professional direction, tiredness, or feeling pulled in several directions. It can be pressure to perform without the right support or clear goal. Now, the days around December 7 to 12 are sensitive. Keep your schedule calm, avoid unnecessary conflict, and do not force demanding professional or relationship decisions. This is a moment to wait rather than act. The next point of interest is actually the beginning of the month, and it is a full moon on December 4th, and it's in your own sign, in Nakshatra Rohini. This brings attention to your body, your mood, and your personal needs. With the Sun and combust Venus in Scorpio, relationships may feel heavy or emotionally charged. This full moon often brings a turning point in self-presentation. You may become aware of something that no longer supports your well-being. Try to use this moment to reconnect with your physical routine, check up your boundaries. On December 5, Jupiter will re-enter Gemini, returning to your 2nd house of money and stability. And even though Gemini is not a comfortable sign for Jupiter, it's standing in its own nakshatra, Punarvasu, and it is nakshatra of renewal. It gives us second chances to improve your finances, restore order, or return to an old idea that can now grow with better structure. This transit supports budgeting, reorganizing work routines, or recovering a lost opportunity. Now, from 15th to 18th December, Rahu crosses 18 degrees of Aquarius in your 10th house, and it's crossing the fixed star High Door, carries a history of water-related disruptions and collective instability. For Taurus rising, this can bring unpredictable events at work, sudden changes in leadership or management in the company where you work. It can be public tension in your field, pressure to adjust your professional plans quickly. So try to avoid reacting impulsively to workplace gossip or sudden news. Stay practical and observe the direction of events before you move. New moon in Mula on December 20th falls in your 8th house, joined by Venus and Mars, all in square connection with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So this is a meaningful moment for Taurus rising. It brings hidden matters to the surface, clears old debts, or reveals the truth behind a situation involving shared finances or intimacy. You may feel the need to let go of something heavy or reorganize an agreement. On an inner level, this new moon deepens your insight and your understanding of what binds you emotionally. It is a good time for healing, therapy, research, and clearing psychological clutter. Now, a little glimpse into beginning of 2026. There's a beautiful day, January 3rd, when Venus joins the Sun in the heart of it, and it forms beautiful Kazimi moment in Purva Ashadha Nakshatra. And at the same time, Moon joins Jupiter, forming Gajakeshri Yoga. And for you, Taurus, this activates your 8th and 9th houses, bringing clarity, inspiration, and a sense of spiritual protection and guidance. A soft and intuitive atmosphere opens the year. So this is your December landscape. It begins with careful inner work, moves through professional and relational attention, and ends with a deep emotional reset. Take the month slowly and let each phase guide your decisions with patience. Next, Gemini rising. December centers on health, work, relationships, and a deeper shift in how you manage your responsibilities. The atmosphere carries tension at the start, clarity near the end, and an important change in direction. So December opens with a Jupiter and Mercury retrogrades starting November. And when the Jupiter moves backward through the rising sign, your confidence slows, so you can correct your approach in life. You may feel more reflective or cautious in how you present yourself. This is a useful time to adjust habits, routines, and long-term goals. Now, Saturn turned direct at the end of November and now moves toward its square with Mars on December 9th. Neptune stands at the same time close to Saturn and stations direct. So for Gemini rising, this activates your 6th and 9th houses, and the tension may show through pressure at work, fatigue, or minor health issues, confusion with the schedules, disagreements with co-workers, difficulty balancing daily routines with long-term plans. So from December 7 to 12, those days are sensitive. Keep your workload manageable, avoid unnecessary conflict, and rest when needed. This is not the time for risky decisions or pushing your body too hard. Full moon on December 4th in your 12th house in Rohini highlights rest, sleep, healing, and quiet reflection. So the Sun and combust Venus stand in your 6th house, creating a contrast between work demands and your need for recovery. This full moon encourages you to release mental tension and reconnect with your inner balance. It is a favorable moment for meditation, creativity, or stepping back from draining situations. December 5th, Jupiter re-enters your sign, Gemini, and it is not an easy place for Jupiter, although it stands in Punarvasu Nakshatra that it rules. So, in its Nakshatra of restoration and second chances. This can boost your ability to correct your course. You may feel a renewed sense of direction, even if it goes very slow. Use this return to restart abandoned projects or heal your mindset after a tiring year. This transit supports personal growth when approached with steady effort. Now, from December 15th to 18th, Rahu, the north node of the moon, will cross 18 degree of Sidereal Aquarius, and it's happening in your 9th house, and it's crossing the fixed star High Door. High Door traditionally links with water-related disruptions or unusual collective events, and so for Gemini rising, this may influence travel plans, educational decisions, legal matters, your relationship with mentors, teachers, or institutions. It can be public news related to foreign affairs as well. Try to avoid risky travel and keep your schedule flexible these days. Now, December 20th, the new moon happens in Mula Nakshatra, in the heart of our galaxy, with the star Atamine, with Venus and Mars nearby. So all this combination forms a square to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for Gemini rising, this is a turning point in relationships. Mula clears what is false and gets to the root. You may analyze the truth of a partnership, redefine shared goals, or uncover something that needs to be honest. This new moon supports resetting boundaries, improving communication, releasing unhealthy relationship patterns, and forming deeper, more sincere commitments. Take your time and do not rush decisions. The clarity will grow in the following weeks. Now, a little glimpse to 2026. On January 3rd, Venus will be with the Sun in Kazimi in Purvashadha Nakshatra, while Moon and Jupiter forms beautiful transit Gajakeshari Yoga. For you, Gemini, this can bring gentle support to both your 7th and 8th houses. It may bring emotional insight, renewed closeness, or a deeper understanding of your partner's needs. So this is your December path. You begin with review and adjustment, move through tension at work in schedules, and end with a meaningful reset in relationships. Let this month slow you down so you can hear what your inner direction is asking you for. Next is Cancer rising. And December centers on health, routine, creativity, and a deeper shift in love, children, and personal expression. The pace is uneven, but the direction becomes clear once you move past the tension of early December. So, the month opened with Jupiter and Mercury being retrograde, activating your 12th and 6th houses. So Jupiter retrograde in 12 can slow down your emotional or spiritual development, but it encourages you to revisit inner work you may have ignored. Take all the needed rest, sleep, and quiet reflection can help you figure things out. Now, Saturn turned direct in the end of November, and starting its move into a 10th square with Mars on December 9th, with Neptune standing close and stationing near the same date. So for Cancer rising, it activates 5th and 8th houses, and this can show as pressure around children or some of your creative projects, also pressure around investment projects, emotional intensity in relationships, financial concerns related to shared resources, deep psychological processing, sudden arguments, or misunderstandings. The day between 7th and 12th December require care. Move gently with family matters and avoid impulsive decisions. Give yourself space to think before reacting. This is a very sensitive period for your heart and your energy. So take care of yourself, slow down, and don't overextend yourself. Full moon on December 4th, going back in the beginning of the month, falls in your 11th house and in beautiful nakshatra Rohini. This highlights friendships, community, and long-term goals and your sense of belonging. With the Sun and combust Venus in Scorpio in your 5th house, you may feel a strong contrast between private creative desires and public expectations. So this full moon can bring a realization about your social circle or a project you have been shaping all year. It is a good time to refine your priorities and decide which goals still feel authentic. On December 5th, Jupiter moves back into Gemini into your 12th house in Punarvasu nakshatra. It's nakshatra of second chances and renewals. So for you, Cancer, it offers healing and spiritual clarity. You may feel drawn again to meditation, solitude, and a quieter emotional landscape. Some past difficulty may begin to soften. Think of this transit as a gentle reset for your inner world. Use this time to restore your strength and set healthier boundaries with work or family. Now, December 15th to 18th, Rahu moves through 18-degree Aquarius in your 8th house and touching the star High Door. This has long-standing links with water disruptions and sudden collective events. For Cancer rising, this may involve shared finances, secrets or hidden information, emotional intensity in partnerships, concerns around security or trust, unexpected expenses or paperwork. These days are not ideal for risky financial decisions. Stay observant and avoid jumping to conclusions. Now, new moon on December 20th in Mula in your 6th house, joined by Venus and Mars. And all of this, together with star Etamine and the galactic center, form a square connection with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for Cancer rising, this is a moment of clearing and rebuilding your daily life. Mula pulls out the roots of unhealthy habits. You may decide to change your routine, adjust your health patterns, or cut unnecessary obligations. This new moon will support simplifying your work environment, improving self-care, starting a new diet or a healing program, reorganizing your schedule for sanity and balance. Take these steps slowly, but take them with intention. And last but not least, I give a little glimpse into the beginning of January 2026. And Venus meets Sun in Purvashadha nakshatra in Kazimi. And at the same time, Moon and Jupiter forms Gajakeshari yoga. And for Cancer rising, this can influence topics of the 6th and 7th houses. So it will bring clarity in relationships, relief from heavy responsibilities, and renew the sense of emotional grounding. So this is your December path, Cancer. You begin with inner correction, pass through emotional and financial tension, and end with a strong reset in your daily life. Let this month guide you toward a steadier routines and a clear understanding of what truly supports your well-being. Next is Leo rising, and December for you moves through themes of home, career, creativity, and relationships. The early days carry pressure, but the later part of the month brings a clear sense of purpose. Retrograde slows the pace in friendships, social circles, and long-term plans, and it encourages you to reconsider your goals and the people you rely on. You may step back from group responsibilities or rethink a project you began earlier this year. These retrogrades ask for patience. Let your inspiration grow quietly instead of forcing decisions. Saturn turned direct in the end of November, and it's moving toward a 10th square with Mars on December 9th. Meanwhile, Neptune will station direct the same time near Saturn, and for Leo rising, this heats up the 4th and 7th houses. The results may show as tension in close relationships, disagreements at home, pressure from family or partners, emotional fatigue, or confusion about your responsibilities. And after that period between December 7 to 12 is especially sensitive. Try to keep communication calm and avoid dramatic decisions in marriage, partnerships, or real estate. This is a time to stabilize your inner world rather than push for change. Now, going a little bit back to December 4th, and it is a full moon happens in your 10th house in Rohini. This highlights your public role, career path, and reputation. With the Sun and combust Venus and Scorpio in your 4th house, you may feel torn between home demands and professional obligations. So this full moon can bring a turning point in your work life. You may receive a recognition, reach a decision about your direction, or feel the need to balance your public duties with your emotional health. Take time to evaluate what success truly means to you. Jupiter moves back into Gemini and enters Punarvasu, a nakshatra of second chances. And through the sign, though the sign may feel scattered, the nakshatra brings renewal. And for you, Leo, it's happening in 11th house, and it offers a fresh start in friendships, community, and long-term vision. You may reconnect with people, revive a project, or rediscover motivation for a dream that once felt out of reach. Use this transit for steady planning rather than bold leaps. Now, between 15th and 18th December, Rahu crosses 18 degrees of Aquarius in your 7th house, and it crosses the star High Door, which has historical links with water disruptions and sudden collective events. For you, Leo rising, this may bring an unpredictable behavior from partners or surprising news in relationships. It can be also instability with clients or collaborators. Emotional intensity in one-to-one connections. Try to move slow with commitments during these days. Watch for misunderstandings that arise from fear or confusion, not actual problems. Now, new moon in Mula falls in your 5th house, joined by Venus and Mars, and together with star Atomine and galactic center. And all this sits in a square connection with Saturn and Neptune again in Pisces. So this can be a deep reset in creativity, romance topics, or emotional life of your children. Muller clears away anything false and returns you to the root of your desires. You may end an old pattern in love, uncover a truth about creative project, or rethink your approach to joy itself. Now, this is an excellent time to return to something meaningful and create from a more honest, truthful, authentic sense of you. Just a little glimpse into January 3rd, 2026, when Venus enters Kazimi in the heart of the sun in Purva Shadha Nakshatra, and Moon and Jupiter forms beautiful transit Gajakeshri Yoga. So for Leo rising, this influences your 5th and 6th houses, and it brings this creative clarity, emotional warmth, and renewed discipline in daily life. So overall, your December path begin with slower reflection, move through relational or home-based tension, and then end with a strong shift in creativity and personal expression. Let this month guide you towards steadier emotional ground and a clear understanding of what you want to build next. Next will be Virgo rising. December highlights communication, travel, home life, and the deeper emotional patterns you carry. The early days you bring pressure, but the month ends with a strong inner reset. December reopens with Jupiter retrograde in your 10th house. Jupiter retrograde slows career growth, but invites careful reevaluation. You may revisit professional goals, revise some responsibilities, or adjust your long-term direction. This is not a setback, it is a structural correction. Saturn turned direct at the end of November and moves toward a difficult square with Mars on December 9th. And Neptune also stations direct around the same time, and it will be standing near Saturn. So for Virgo rising, this activates 3rd and 6th houses, and the tension may show through pressure at work, issues with coworkers, delays in communications, fatigue or minor health irritation, tension with siblings or neighbors, increased responsibilities. The period from December 7 to 12 is unstable. Avoid heated discussions, keep travel light, and reduce unnecessary commitments. Take extra care with health routines and rest. Now, going a little bit back, December 4th is a full moon in Rohini, and it's happening on your 9th house. This brings attention to travel, education, philosophy, and broader life direction. With the Sun and combust Venus in your 3rd house, you may feel caught between everyday tasks and desire for deeper meaning. Now, this full moon can bring clarity about the path you want to study or pursue. It is a moment to refine plans for travel, publishing, learning, or spiritual growth. The following day, Jupiter officially re-enters Gemini, returning to your 8th house of career. And although Gemini is not the easiest place for Jupiter, it stands in its own Punarvasu nakshatra of renewal and second chances. So for Virgo rising, this invites a fresh start in your professional direction. You may revisit an old opportunity, reconnect with someone who helps your career, or reshape your long-term plans with clear vision. This transit supports steady rebuilding rather than sudden leaps. So going back to the middle of the month, after the Mars square with Saturn and Neptune, we have Rahu that crosses 18 degrees of Aquarius, and it's happening in your 6th house, and it's going through the star high door, associated with water-related disruptions and collective instability. So for Virgo rising, this energy may appear as sudden workplace changes. Can be some unexpected tasks, shifts in routines, misunderstandings or gossip, pressure around deadlines. So stay grounded, avoid overcommitting, and watch your health. So these days, try to, you will find support in measured responses and not in quick reactions. And the next important point in December is a new moon on December 20th in Mula Nakshatra with the star Etamine and center of galactic center. And it happens in your 4th house with a Venus nearby and Mars. And all of this forms square again to Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. So for Virgo rising, this signals a deep reset in home life, emotional foundations, and family relationships. Mula removes what is false and returns you to the root. You may feel drawn to reorganize your living space, confront an old emotional pattern, or establish healthier boundaries. So this new moon supports clearing the clutter, setting new family rules, begin emotional healing work, strengthening your inner stability. Move patiently and let clarity come slowly. Now a little glimpse to January 3rd, 2026, when Venus will form Kazimi together with the Sun in Purvashattha Nakshatra, while the Moon and Jupiter forms Gajikeshri Yoga through the transit. So here, Virgo rising, for you, it influences your 4th and 5th houses, bringing emotional warmth, creative insight, and a calmer home atmosphere. So this is your December landscape. You begin with reflection and correction, move through a period of pressure in work, communication, and end with an emotional and domestic reset. Let this month guide you towards steadier ground and a clear sense of direction. So for Libra rising, December focuses on communication, money, daily responsibilities, and deeper matters connected with siblings and your local environment. While the first half of December carries pressure, the later days help you reorganize your plans with more clarity. December opens with 2 grahas being retrograde, Jupiter in 9th and Mercury in 3rd. So Jupiter slows long-distance travel, educational plans, legal matters, and anything connected with your larger worldview. It invites you to refine your beliefs, revise study plans, or return to unfinished academic work. Now, Saturn turned direct in the end of November, and now heading toward a Mars square with Mars on December 9th. So, and Neptune also stations direct around those days, close to Saturn. So for Libra rising, this activates the 2nd and 5th houses, and the tension may appear through financial strain, concerns around children, disagreements in romantic matters, increased expenses, pressure around creative work. Now also emotional frustration can arise. So the days from approximately December 7 to 12 require caution. Avoid any major financial decisions. Keep romantic discussions simple and measured. Give yourself space to think rather than react. The full moon on December 4th, going back a little bit, falls on your 8th house. And Nakshatra Rahini, the placement, can bring strong emotional charge to subjects involving intimacy, shared finances, and trust. So with the Sun and combust Venus in your 2nd house, you may feel pulled between your own needs and other expectations. And this full moon can reveal truths about financial agreement, partnership, or an emotional pattern that needs your attention. Try to use this insight to reorganize, not to rush. The following day, December 5th, Jupiter officially re-enters your 9th house, Gemini, in Punarvasu, nakshatra of return and renewal and second chances. So for you, Libra, it reopens the doors connected with a study, travel, teaching, or spiritual direction. If plans stalled earlier in the year, this transit offers a chance to try again with steadier preparation. Now, going back to the middle of the month, December 15th to 18th, Rahu transit 18-degree Aquarius. And it is happening in your 5th house, and it touches star Haidor, which is linked with water disruptions and collective instability. So for Libra rising, this may influence children, romantic decisions, creative projects, speculative investments, and emotional expression. So try to be careful with the risk taking during this time. Avoid any impulsive choices in love or finances. New moon on December 20th in Mula Nakshatra falls in your third house together with Venus and Mars and fixed star Etamin and galactic center. All of this sits in square connection with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And so for Libra rising, this a deep reset in your communication patterns and daily mindset. Mula returns to the root of how you speak, how you write, how you make an effort, how you learn, how you move through your immediate environment. You may let go of an old habit, change your approach to study, or reorganize your weekly routines. This new moon supports clearing mental clutter, improving communication skills, beginning new learning paths, simplifying your daily responsibilities. Now, a little glimpse into January 2026. And on January 3rd, Venus forms Kazemi with the Sun in Purvashadha Nakshatra, while Moon and Jupiter makes a transit Gajakeshari Yoga. So for you, Libra, this enhances your third and fourth houses, and it can bring emotional softness, stronger intuition, and a calmer home atmosphere. So this is your December path. You begin with revision and reflection, move through financial and emotional tension, and end with a clear mental and practical reset. Let this month settle your mind and guide you toward steadier decisions. For Scorpio rising, December revolves around money, relationships, personal direction, and deeper emotional renewal. The start of December carries tension, but the final part of the month gives you a clear sense of what must change. So December opens with the two planets being retrograde since November, Jupiter in 8th and Mercury in your second house. Jupiter retrograde slows all the matters involving shared finances, taxes, debts, and deeper emotional bonds. It asks you to revisit agreements, clarify boundaries, and settle unfinished obligations. Saturn turned direct at the end of November and now moving toward its square with Mars on December 9, with Neptune standing close to Saturn and stations direct near the same date. All of this for Scorpio rising activates the core of your chart, the first and fourth houses. This may show as tension at home, pressure from family or real estate issues, emotional fatigue, feeling pulled between personal needs and domestic responsibilities. It can be increased sensitivity overall. The days from December 7th to December 12th need special care. Try to avoid confrontations at home and allow space for your rest. Do not force decisions about living arrangements or family matters. Let the energy pass before acting. December 4th, full moon in Rohini lands in your seventh house of partnerships. This is an emotionally charged placement, especially with the Sun and combust Venus in Scorpio in your first house. This full moon brings clarity to relationship dynamics. You may see the truth of someone's intentions or recognize your own needs more clearly. It can highlight both desire and pressure. Use this moon to understand what strengthens your partnerships and what drains you. On the following day, December 5, Jupiter re-enters your 8th house and steps into Panurvasu Nakshatra back. It's a nakshatra of renewal. Even though Gemini is not the most stable place for Jupiter, Punarvasu offers a chance to restore balance in shared finances, intimacy, and psychological healing. This is an invitation to revisit emotional patterns, heal old fears, or renegotiate agreements so they feel fair. This is a slow and steady process that supports long-term stability. Now, going back to the middle of the month, from December 15th to 18th, Rahu crosses 18-degree Aquarius in your 4th house and touches the star Haidor, historically associated with water disruptions and collective instability. So whoever has personal planets around this degree, you need to be extra careful with anything regarding water. Now, for Scorpio rising, overall, this may influence home environment, property concerns, emotions connected with family. It can be also sudden domestic changes or weather or water-related events near your location. So stay aware of practical matters at home and avoid unnecessary risk during these days. Now, the new moon on December 20th happens in Mool and falls in your 2nd house. It's joined by Venus on one side in Sagittarius and Mars on the other. All of this, together with galactic center and fixed star atomy, make a square connection with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for Scorpio rising, this is a significant financial and emotional reset. Moola clears what is unstable and returns to the root. You may feel motivated to reorganize your budget, release unnecessary expenses, or shift how you earn money. This new moon supports simplifying finances, creating new sources of income, setting clear boundaries in your relationships, adjusting your values so they reflect your real priorities. This full moon can show you what you must let go in order to feel more grounded. A little glimpse into 2026, and on January 3rd, there's a beautiful moment of Venus Kazimi with the Sun in Purva Shatha Nakshatra, while Moon and Jupiter forms transit Gajakeshari Yoga. That's so nice for your and my and overall our soul after this challenging month of December. So for Scorpio rising, this influences your 2nd and 3rd houses, bringing mental clarity, better communication, and a healthier financial outlook. This is your December landscape. You begin with introspection, move through sensitive emotional and domestic pressure, and end the month with a clear financial and personal reset. Let this month guide you towards steadier foundations and a more grounded sense of direction. And I need to change again battery. For Sagittarius rising, December centers on identity, health, relationships, and a meaningful inner reset. The first half carries pressure, but later days open an honest new cycle for you. December begins with the Jupiter retrograde and Jupiter in 7th and Mercury in 1st. So Jupiter retrograde slows developments in relationships and partnerships. You may revise expectations, return to old conversations, or adjust agreements with a partner. This is a period of correction rather than disruption. It is a month of measured steps, not huge bold decisions and leaps. Saturn turned direct at the end of November and moves toward the 10th square with Mars on December 9th. Neptune, meanwhile, stands close to Saturn and stations near the same date. So this very tense combination for Sagittarius rising activates the 12th and 3rd houses. This may show as mental pressure or scattered thoughts, difficulty focusing, strained communication, unexpected tasks in your immediate environment, fatigue or disrupted sleep, emotional heaviness. I personally already bought a new portion of valeriana root for myself because my disrupted sleep is just not going away. And if something like this is happening in December, I really need to be prepared. Now, the period from December 7th to 12th requires extra care. Keep your schedule simple, avoid unnecessary travel at all costs, and do not force conversations that need clarity. There will be better time for this later on. Now, this is a sensitive time for your energy and your mental balance. December 4th, the full moon in Rohini falls in your 6th house, going a little back in month, in the house of health, routine, and work. With the sun and combust Venus in your 12th house, you may feel stretched between rest and increased responsibility. So this full moon can bring clarity about work project, health habit, or a daily pattern that needs adjustment from you. It is a good moment to reorganize your routine or release something that drains your strength. On the following day, December 5th, Jupiter officially moves back to Gemini and enters and stays actually in Nakshatra Punarvasu. It is nakshatra of renewal and second chances. So for Sagittarius rising, this reshapes your approach to relationships. You may revisit old agreements, reconnect with someone important from the past, or refine how you handle partnerships dynamics overall. This is a chance to restore balance after a period of misunderstandings or distance. Let this transit support healthier patterns in both personal and professional relationships. Now, going back to the transmittal December. From 15th to 18th December, Rahu crosses 18 degree of Aquarius in your 3rd house, while touching fixed star Haidor, traditionally linked with water-related disruptions and collective instability. Together with Saturn stations in the beginning of Pisces, and then Neptune stations, and then square to Mars, this is a very charged and volatile, potentially time. So be careful around water bodies in general. So for Sagittarius rising, due to houses activated, this may affect short distance trip communication, siblings, neighbors, contracts or paperwork, and overall daily movement. Keep your plans flexible, avoid risky driving or rushed decisions. Information may be unclear or exaggerated during these days. Now, new moon, December 20th, right before Christmas and Hanukkah, happens in Mula, and it lands in your own sign. 1st house, joined by Venus in the beginning of Sagittarius and Mars at a little bit far in 9 degrees Sagittarius. Together with galactic center, together with fixed star Atomine, it forms a square with a transit Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. This can feel like a personal reset. Mula removes anything that blocks your path and returns you to your core identity. You may feel a strong desire to simplify your life, redefine your goals, or reshape your self-image. Get rid of all the clutter. This new moon supports letting go of outdated roles, starting a new personal cycle, reorganizing your priorities, returning to the essence of who you are. You are clearing space now for a new direction. A little glimpse to 2026. On January 3rd, Venus joins Sun in Kazimi in Purvashadha Nakshatra, while Moon transit Jupiter and forms transit Gajakeshara Yoga, which is very sweet for our souls. So all of this influences your 1st and 2nd houses, bringing emotional clarity, renewed confidence, and stronger sense of stability. So overall, this is your December landscape. You begin with introspection, move through mental and emotional tension in the middle of the month, and end with a powerful personal reset. Let this month guide you back to your center and help you rebuild from a place of authenticity. Capricorn rising, and December centers on money, stability, inner life, and your long-term direction. Early December carries tension, but the final days guide you toward a quieter and more focused path. December opens with Jupiter and Mercury being retrograde since November, Jupiter in 6 and Mercury in 12. So Jupiter can slow progress in work routines, health habits, and daily responsibility. It encourages you to refine your schedule, correct mistakes, and bring order back into your life. Correct? Not unfixed mistakes in that area. Saturn turned direct at the end of November, and it moves into difficult square with Mars on December 9th. Neptune stands close to Saturn and stations direct near the same date. For Capricorn rising, this activates your 2nd and 11th houses, houses of finances. And this may show as pressure around income, tensions involving friends or social groups, conflict between financial needs and long-term goals. And overall, you can feel emotional frustration. Now, a period from December 7 to 12 requires extra care, avoid major financial decisions, and step back from unnecessary social obligations. Give yourself time to settle before reacting to money-related stress. Going a little bit back in the month, full moon on December 4th falls in your 5th house in Rohini, highlighting creativity, romance, and matters involving children. With the Sun and combust Venus in your 11th house, you may feel divided between personal desires and group expectations. So this full moon brings a realization about creative project or emotional connection. It is a good moment to clarify what brings you joy and what drains your energy. Now, the following day, Jupiter goes officially back to Gemini in Punarvasu nakshatra of second chances and renewal. This brings a chance to rebuild your routines and daily life with more clarity. For Capricorn rising, this supports revisiting old projects, improving work-life balance, healing after exhaustion, restoring order in your schedule. Even if progress feels slow, this transit helps you regain steadiness. Now, going a little bit back in the middle of the month to the center of tension, from 15 to 18 December, Rahu crosses 18 degree of Aquarius in your 2nd house while touching difficult, challenging star High Door, traditionally linked with water disruptions and sudden collective events. For Capricorn rising, this may influence income and savings, material security, food, diet, speech, family patterns related to money. If that black swan event will be somewhat connected to financial markets, try to think 10 times before you actually do something. Avoid risky spending during these days and keep communication practical. Things may feel exaggerated or unclear. Now, new moon on December 20th falls in Mula Nakshatra in your 12th house, joined by Venus and Mars. Also, there's a star Etomine and galactic center. All of it forms a square connection with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for Capricorn rising, this is a very, as for everyone else, important moment of trying to stay quiet and don't do anything extra. Mula removes what is worn out and returns you to the root of your emotional life. You may feel the need to release an old pattern, leave behind a heavy memory, or create more space around you. This new moon supports spiritual work, reset, rest and healing, clearing psychological clutter, stepping away from harmful habits. And a little bit glimpse to January 2026, exactly 3rd January, when Venus will join Sun in Kazimi in Purvashadha Nakshatra, while transit Moon forms transit Gajikeshari Yoga with transit Jupiter, which is like a honey for your soul. For Capricorn rising, this influences your 12th and first houses, and it can bring emotional clarity, renewed strength, and a gentle sense of direction for a year ahead. So this is your December path. You begin with inner correction, move through financial and social pressure, and end with meaningful and emotional reset. Let this month settle your energy and guide you forward a calmer foundation. Now Aquarius rising, and December focuses on friendships, partnerships, overall goals, and the deeper structure of your daily life. The first half carries tension, but the end of the month opens a space for direction and renewal. So December opens with Jupiter and Mercury retrograde, Jupiter in 5th and Mercury in 11th houses. Jupiter slows progress in creative work, romance, investment projects, your business, matters involving children. It invites you to refine your approach, return to unfinished ideas, or adjust your expectations. Now, Saturn turned direct at the end of November and moves towards square with Mars on December 9th. Neptune stations close to Saturn the same day or around the same day. And for Aquarius, it activates your 1st and 10th houses. So the tension may show through pressure at work or your public image, struggles with authority, increased responsibilities, mental or physical fatigue overall, confusion about your public role. Overall, you can feel overstretched between personal identity and career demands. Now, the days from December 7 to 12 are especially sensitive. Avoid confrontations, keep your workload manageable, and allow room for rest. This is not the time for major public decisions, so keep this in mind. Now, a little bit going back to December 4th, full moon in Rohini, which happens in your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations. The Sun and combust Venus is in your 10th house, and you may feel caught between this professional duties, professional image, public role, and your need for rest again. So this full moon can bring clarity about your family matter, some living situation, or emotional pattern that needs to be healed. It's a good time to make your home environment more supportive or to reflect on what grounds you the most. The following day, Jupiter officially returns to Gemini, staying in Punarvasu nakshatra of renewal and second chances. So for Aquarius rising, this brings a gentler tone to creativity, romance, education, and children. You may revive an old project, regain inspiration, or return to a hobby that once brought joy for you. If something creative stalled earlier this year, this transit gives it another chance, or creative project or financial project. Now let's go back to the tension of the month, middle of the month, and after the square between Mars and Saturn and Neptune stations direct, we have another tense moment when Rahu crosses 18-degree Aquarius in your 1st house. If you have ascendant nearby or you have some personal planets near 18-degree Aquarius, you need to be extra careful, like don't leave the house. Always keep the water inside your house closed. Because it's touching the star Haidor. Haidor is linked with water disruptions and collective instability overall. And for Aquarius rising, in general, this may influence your emotional state, your physical energy, decisions about your identity. Unexpected reactions from others can happen. Also sudden shifts in self-representation that you will regret later. So these days can feel unsettled. So stay practical, simple schedule, avoid impulsive choices about your appearance, direction, or public image. Now, December 20th, the new moon in Mula falls in your 11th house, joined by Venus and Mars, together with fixed star Atomin and galactic center. All of this forms a square with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for you, Aquarius, this is a deep reset in friendships, in overall networks, in long-term goals, in social commitments. Mula removes what is false and returns you to the root of what you truly want and who you truly are. You may feel motivated to step away from a group or clarify your long-term plans with more honesty. This new moon supports simplifying your social world, starting new projects with clear purpose, setting more realistic expectations for your goals, removing obligations that no longer fit your path. A little glimpse into 2026, and January 3rd, Venus enters Sun in Kazimi in Purva Shatha Nakshatra. Wow, transit moon together with transit Jupiter forms beautiful Gajik Keshari yoga that like a honey for our soul. For Aquarius rising that influences your 11th and 12th houses, bringing emotional softness, a clear sense of purpose, and renewed inspiration for the year ahead. So, Aquarius, this is your December landscape. You begin with review and adjustment. You move through personal and professional tension and end with a meaningful shift in your goals and social direction. Let this month guide you toward a steadier inner ground and a clear sense of where you want to go next. And last but not least, Pisces rising, December centers on career, inner life, travel, and long-term purpose. Early December carries tension, but the end of the month brings meaningful shift in direction. December opens with Jupiter and Mercury being retrograde since November, Jupiter in 4th and Mercury in 10th. So Jupiter will slow progress at home and in your emotional foundation. You may revisit some family matters, living arrangements, or issues connected with your inner stability. This is the time to correct, not to expand. Use this month to reconnect with your base, foundation, and revise your long-term goals. Saturn turned direct at the end of November and now moving toward the 10th square on December 9, with Neptune standing close to Saturn and stations direct. All of this for Pisces rising activates 9th and 12th houses. This may show as mental or spiritual fatigue, frustration with travel or study plans, can be delays in paperwork, confusion about your long-term path, and overall, you will feel strong need for rest and retreat. Now, days from December 7 and 12 needs a specific care and attention. This is not time for risky travel, emotional intensity, or major decisions about your future. Keep your mind and schedule light. Going a little bit in the beginning of the month, there will be a full moon, December 4th, in Rohini, in your 3rd house of communication, travel, and daily movement. With the Sun and combust Venus in your 9th house, you may feel a strong push and pull between short-term plans and long-term direction. So this full moon can bring clarity about sibling, contract, an idea that you need to revisit. It is a good time to adjust your schedule or approach to study. The following day, Jupiter officially moves back into Gemini in Nakshatra Punarvasu, Nakshatra of renewal, return, and second chances. And for Pisces rising, it can soften the atmosphere at home. You will feel drawn to reorganize your living space, reconnect with family, restore emotional stability. And this is a very important transit for you because it helps to rebuild your foundation after a very demanding year. Now, going back to the tension in the middle of the month, there's another one. Rahu crosses between December 15 and 18 degree Aquarius in your 12th house. Check if you have any natal planets around this degree, because it's touching the very challenging star High Door, traditionally linked with water disruptions and collective instability. So for Pisces rising, this may influence, in general, your sleep, emotional balance, intuition, mental clarity. You know, some hidden fears or subconscious patterns can arise. So, you know, nightmares can pretty much visit you. So try to just keep in mind that this is a period and it will pass. So these days can feel unclear or draining, and do not rely on assumptions. Rest, reflect, and stillness will help you stay grounded. Now, new moon on December 20th in Mula Nakshatra falls on your 10th house of career, joined by Venus at 0 degrees Sagittarius and Mars. Also, galactic center is there, and Atomine star. And all of this forms a square to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So for Pisces rising, this can be a significant professional reset. Mula cuts through illusions and returns you to the root. You may feel motivated to change direction, or clear unhelpful obligations, or redefine your place in the public sphere. This new moon supports honest career decisions, restructuring professional goals, releasing old expectations, setting a new path for 2026. Take this time to think before acting, but trust what feels essential. Now, a little glimpse into January 3rd. Venus enters Kazimi in Purvashadha Nakshatra, while the Moon and Jupiter form Gajakeshwar Yoga, which is like honey and warm milk with butter to our soul. For Pisces rising, this influences your 10th and 11th houses, bringing inspiration, clarity in professional planning, and renewed confidence for the year ahead. So overall, this is your December landscape. You begin with a reflection, move through spiritual and mental pressure, and end with clear career reset. Let this month guide you toward calmer inner ground and a stronger sense of direction. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next ones. Bye.